Hi everyone and welcome to Flosstube number 5, and today I'm going to talk all about tools you can use for cross stitch. Now this video almost didn't get made. This is the 4th time that I'm recording this. Hopefully this will work out. I'm starting to get annoyed. So this is a little bit late out, and that is because I had to refilm it because it decided that it didn't want to focus on me but on the little stuffed animals I had put in the background. So now I don't have any stuffed animals in the background because, hey, I'm gonna focus on me. The second time the audio was just chicky. So hopefully this will work out. But hi, if you are a returning viewer, I'm so happy that you want to spend some time with me. It means a lot to me. If you are new here, hi, my name is Marika. I am from Stockholm, Sweden, where I live with my boyfriend and my 2 cats, and I love cross stitching. I am Little Miss Crafts a lot, but on this channel I talk mostly about cross stitching. Today's video is going to be about tools, and I'm going to talk about some basic tools and some more intermediate tools, but I would love to hear from you. Do you have any specific tools that you use in your cross stitching? Is there some of the tools that I mentioned today that you also love just like I do? So yes, let's jump into it. Let's start with scissors. Scissors are super simple. Scissors is basically if you are a beginner to cross stitching and you just use kits, you don't really need scissors because you get everything else in a kit. The scissors that I use are just basic Fiskars, little super pointy embroidery scissors. There is so many scissors out there you can get. You have beautiful scissors, you have antique scissors. One of the things that I don't like with most embroidery scissors is that they have pretty small holes, which makes it hard for me to kind of get in where I want to get in, and that is why I like my Fiskars. And also they stay sharp really long. I had these for 15 years. I only cut thread with them, and they're still sharp. These are also very sharp, but I only had them for like a year or 2. But yeah, scissors are really good. But if you have children, or if you want to fly, maybe this kind of scissors doesn't work, because I know these specific ones I wasn't allowed to take on a flight once. Happily enough, it was from my boyfriend's parents back home, so his mom took care of the scissors and brought them to me the next time they came up in their car. So that was awesome. But yeah, if you are flying and you want to have something with you, or if you just don't want to have very pointy scissors around your little children, I could recommend either nail clippers, or Clover has one of these really beautiful round medallions, like an antique medallion that has a knife in it but only shows little pieces of the knife, so it's super easy to cut off, but it's very hard to cut yourself on it. So I would recommend those. Both of them, both nail clippers and that medallion, I have flown with so many times and it works great. Next thing, needles. So needles is something that we'll wear, and one of the things that make them wear is basically the salts in your hands. So even though I clean my hands all the time, sometimes my hands do make my needles go matte and like hard to get through after a while, whatever brand I'm using. So just know that will happen to your needles, and when your needle gets matte and harder to get through, you might see it getting harder to actually get even stitches. So having a bunch of needles on hand is really good. Needles comes in 3 main sizes: 24, 26 and 28. 24 you usually use for 11 count, 14 count Ida, or 25, 28 count even weaver linen. 26 is usually used for 16 almost down to 22 count of Ida, and 32 to 40 count of linen or even weave, with stitching over 2 on the linen or even weave, and then 18 count or size 18 is used for anything that have a tighter weave, so anything 40 count and upwards, or if you do over 1 on 32 to 36 count. So I recommend buying needles. There's so many different brands out there. You have to figure out which is good for you. If you want to buy in bulk, I do sell in bulk on my Etsy store, but find the needle that works for you. Just because I like my needles doesn't mean you like them. Okay, good. Next thing. Now we come into the fun to have section, I would say. The first one is needle minders. Needle minders is basically something decorative with a dynamo, something like that, magnet on the back side. You put it on top of your fabric, and then you put another magnet on the other side of the fabric that will hold it to your fabric. And because it is magnet, you can just place your needle on top of that decorative thing and the needle will stay in place. I love needle minders. They're super fun, and you can really express yourself with them. I do have some in my store. If you like Halloween cross-stitch designs, you can find them there. This is a little bit of a monster. I just use plain buttons, like the clothing buttons, and have a little magnet on the back side. But yeah, you can find them as enamel pins without the pin part and with the magnet part. You can find wooden ones. There is some really gorgeous poly, like clay ones. It's gorgeous. But yeah, that's a fun to have, and it kind of works holding your needle. Then we have another fun to have, might not be a must have, and that is ort jars. Ort jars is basically where you keep your orts, and the orts is things that are left behind, or kind of the little pieces of threads that you cut off at the end of your thread. It's like a little garbage can. Some people save their orts, so the pieces of threads, and they fill little ornaments, like those glass bauble ornaments, and you fill them up with the threads and kind of have them as a remembrance of everything you stitched that year. Or you do like me and just throw it out when the ort jar is full. I have a couple of these glass ones, which I bought just in a local store. However, I have a stone surface nowadays that I put my things on, and I don't like glass on stone. So instead I have these little paper ones. They're super easy to make. I will have a link in the description down below to a video that I made on how to make these. It just takes one 6x6 pattern paper, preferably double-sided, because you will see both sides. And that is what you get. Super cute, super simple, and also because it has those like angled areas, when you have filled it a little bit, they won't fall out. It's awesome. So now we had all of the things that are fun. Now we're gonna go into a little bit more. I have learned how to stitch, and now I want to get better, cleaner stitches. Some people do really good in hand and make these beautiful, clean, even stitches. But doing cross-stitching in hand, you're working on a very soft material, and sometimes that can be hard to get those even stitches. You might pull too hard or something, and then a frame can be very good. Also, if you want to stitch double-handed, a frame is really good. So the different frames that you can get is either a hoop. It's a circular one. These are the most affordable one. You can get them for like $1 or something. Super cheap. They're usually wooden. You have one ring on the inside. You have another ring on the outside, and the ring on the outside has this little screw, and it isn't fully closed. So you just screw the screw to put tension on the fabric, and the fabric fits in the frame. I'm not a fan of them. but I know people who swear by hoops. Another way you can use is a Q-snap. A Q-snap is basically a plastic frame that has these little snaps. You put the fabric around them, you snap the fabric on. I always use some felt underneath my little snap. It holds the fabric a little bit better, and also it kind of protects your stitches from the sharp corners that some of these snaps may have. And then you have the third one, which is the more expensive one. Also, you're gonna need something to hold it, and that is a scroll frame. So you need some kind of stand for that to make it easier. A scroll frame, they come in so many different brands and some so different shapes or widths and bigs. There are the creme de la creme of scroll frames. They are either called Millennium or Quantum frames. The Millennium frames are made in the US. The Quantum frames are made in Estonia. And I don't know how it is right now, but I know for a long period of time it was really, really hard to get the Millennium frames. They had 6 months to a year waiting period, while the Quantum frames always have been fairly easily to get. And also because I'm in Europe, if I'm gonna get a scroll frame, which I really, really want, I'm gonna get a Quantum one for me. And the last section is all about storage, whether it be with your project or with your craft supplies. So first of all, we're going to talk about projects. If you have a kit, it usually comes in a bag. And if you're like me, the bag rips. So it might be easier to have it in something. There are so many different ways to store your projects, but the ones that people are showing all over the place is the project bags, and they are so beautiful, and I just want to make all of them. I just need the time. So project bags can be anything from just buying a simple plastic mesh bag from Amazon. You usually get them in a multi-pack for rather cheap, or you can go the whole way, either buy or sew a quilted one, and there's so many beautiful quilted ones. I just want them all, so instead I'm just gonna make them all. Hopefully I will have time, but it's a really good way of keeping your project separately. You can also match the quilted ones with your project. I'm looking forward to doing that. And then we have storage of your threads, both for when you have a project or for your stash. There are multiple different ways. I think the one that most people are using at the moment is the drop cards. So basically small little cards that have a hole in the top and the bottom. The top you can actually add to a ring. So if you have a project, you can just pick out the cards and you add to a ring, and then you have all the beautiful threads on that ring. The bottom one, you just pull your thread length through and you have your skein hanging on them. They are beautiful, and I think they're probably pretty good. You can add all your leftovers directly on that little circular thing. Sometimes they have 2 holes, so you have 1 separate hole for leftovers. Super simple to have, especially for smaller projects. But for storing a whole stash, I'm not sure. It depends on where you would store them. And personally, I can't have hanging threads around my cats because they eat them. So for me, it didn't work, but it might work for you. If you do have a bigger stash and you want to have a better way of storing them, but you want a similar way of storing them, you can use the Annie's Keeper set. They have little plastic pieces with holes in them, and they have a full set that is color coordinated towards the DMC, so you can get all of the DMC numbers. And it also is made to function in one of those hanging document storage system. I think it looks really, really cool, but again, the threads will be hanging. It doesn't work for me with my cats, but it looks really great. Another way that you can use is the floss away bags. Those were big back in 2014, 2015. They're like snack size bags. You put little cards in the bags, you put your threads in the bags with the cards, you put all of the bags into like shoe boxes. They might be really, really good if you have like a little bit of a bigger stash of the same color. However, I felt that when you started using a skein, you very easily could get kind of chaos. Some people still swear by them, but for me and how I work, it didn't work well. I still use a very old way. I love bobbins and I bobbinate everything. Well, I bobbinate one skein of each color and then I just store the rest as skeins. It works better for me. And then I have a pages document, a numbers document, basically Excel, where I have all the counts of all the different threads to make it easier for me to see what I have and what I don't have. So a bobbin looks like this. It's a plastic. They come in plastic and paper. I like the plastic ones because they're a little bit more sturdy. I write on mine with a waterproof pen, and then I just use when I've used it up, I used alcohol and I remove the color of it and just rewrite on them, so I can just use them over and over again. There is cons with these also. The threads that you put on your skeins will get little bumps where they are on the sides. Some people feel that they see it in their cross stitch. I don't see it in mine, but I have a specific tension and a specific way of stitching, so you might see it in yours. So that is one of the negative things. You do need, if you have a full stash of them, you're gonna need a couple of boxes. I use 4 of these. I like having them in boxes instead of drawers, just because I can take them out very easy and just look at them and rummage through them. I have my full set in 4 of these boxes, and then I have boxes for my projects. And I kit up my projects for this way. I don't keep my threads with projects that are like resting usually. So this is my winter my Christmas house, and it doesn't have all of the threads because I've been picking out of this box into my small boxes for my small projects. This is my currently active one. These threads are my currently active one. These are just some extra. I don't know why I have them in here, but this is my current project. I also have a little bit of a pin cushion in here that I made to fit in here, so it works great. And that also means that I can close around my needles so my cats don't take them. But yeah, this is how that look. I just pick out the little bobbins that I use and put them in. Whenever I run out of a bobbin, I go to my skeins stash, which is plastic bags that I have of the hundreds. So all my 100s in one, or my 300 is in one, all my 800 is in one. And then I can just go and rummage through there and get my skein. So that is how I kind of package my things. But as I said, there are multiple different ways on how to store your threads. That was actually all for me when it comes to tools and storage and everything of that. However, last week I had a little bit of a small giveaway, and I have pulled the giveaway winners. So for the mint green fabric, I had random.org draw a winner, and in this case I had 11 comments. As long as I have just a few comments, this is the easiest way of doing it. I took a number between 1 and 11 and I just randomized it, and the first one and the winner of the green fabric plus a couple of sample needles is Stephen Kropf, which is kind of fun that I pulled him out of all the comments because he was the one that wanted me to make this video. So it kind of works out really, really great. Also, I have his address, so I can send it out to him immediately. For the purple fabric, that is Rebecca Patterson. I will also comment on your post that you have won. I need you to either DM me on Instagram with your address, because that is the easiest way. But if you don't have Instagram, just send me a note on the comment, and I'll send you an email address that you can send me your address at. And that would be the purple fabric and the needles that you want. So yeah, that was all from me. I want to say thank you so much for watching. It's been really fun to go and look at all my tools. And again, if there are any tools that you are using that I didn't have in this list, please comment down below and maybe I make a number 2 video, or just start using those tools, because I kind of like tools. I like gadgets. If you like this video, please thumbs it up. If you want to see more like this, hit that subscribe button. Down below you can find all the details, some links, and all of those fun things. There's also a comment section. It would be really nice if you drop me a comment. I really like to read those. It means a lot to me. Also, if you happen to have someone you know that might want to see this kind of content, please share this video with them. That would be awesome and great. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye!